Thank you. Hey Google, play some music.
Oh my baby, got me staring at you. So I'm crazy. Won't you bend that back for me? We won't stop. Got your feet both locked. You get to fly with me. I can take you down for a ride. I take you around my life. Jaywalking, crosswalking, lip locking, but you, I know it, you know it, we make it.
Hey guys, and welcome to Feel the Drive, where today I take a race spec BMW Z4 out on the track, Bedford Autodrome. Yeah, this was an incredible experience. So, kind of starting off the day, I thought I'd be in a different Z4 2.2 with a passenger seat, and I'd get a bit more time to learn and break into the car. Turns out I get given the keys to a 3-litre Z4 with one seat on a track that I've never been on before. So it was jumping at the deep end of the pool for sure. But anyway, so I got there, went to the drives meeting. I'd watched a few videos on the track beforehand, and I have been on track a few times driving different cars. So I understood the general principle, and I've done it in my own car as well. So, but this is the first time that I've been kind of given free rein, and it was absolutely incredible experience. So for the first couple laps, it was move over and let everyone else pass me until I got a clear space where I could start feeling out the car and feeling out the track. And unfortunately, you can't quite see out of the windscreen. The lighting for the GoPro didn't quite work out, but you can see my feet and my hands perfectly. So actually, watching this back, I can pick up a lot of pointers on what I can do better, and I recognise parts of the track that I could have gone a lot faster. But one of the things I picked up from passengering and talking to other people who do track days is find someone that's the same kind of level as you driving wise, or someone who has a similar car to you. Now I thought that I could keep up with the MX-5s, but the drivers were head over heels better than me, or they were supercharged and turbocharged, and again they were just better than me behind the wheel of the car. So I didn't manage to keep up with them, but I did keep up with, I think it's a BMW 330i, and I ended up chasing him for the whole time that I was out on track in my first stint, because that way I could follow someone, see their braking points, and the distance that he ended up pulling on me out of corners showed me how much faster I could have taken the corners. So now the chase is on. I'm following this BMW. They go a little bit hot around this hairpin and off the track, but I sit behind them because I actually want to follow this person. What I notice is that just instantly carrying more speed. To follow someone, you've got to put your foot down and just go with it. And you're braking a little bit later, and then you're seeing how far the gap builds between you and the person in front. So obviously I wanted to keep that gap as little as possible, and I found that going through some of the more sweeping bends that I'd catch up to the car, and then when we got to hard braking points like for chicanes or the hairpins, I'd brake a lot. I'd carry a lot less speed than the person in front. But it's very good to have an indicator of what the other car in front is doing, where they're turning in, where their braking points are. And for the rest of my time, for this first session on track, I'm following this guy around. It definitely helped me build confidence in the car and get to learn the circuit a lot better when you're following someone. You don't really have to think so much as to where the track is going. You kind of have an idea of where it's going to go. But if you're following someone in front, you see what they're doing, what they're preparing to do, and you can kind of imitate that as best as possible. Now in reality, the Z4 should have absolutely blitzed the car in front around the corners and even on the straights. It's probably a ton lighter, and it's got roughly the same power. But with me behind the wheel, having just gotten into the car, it just simply wasn't going to happen. But lap after lap and corner after corner in each section of the track that I followed this BMW, I built more confidence in myself, built more confidence in the car, how it felt, the response it gave, and I built it up to a really nice level where I was comfortable with it. After I came in from my first session, I was buzzing. It was a brilliant feeling being out there in the car. I just wanted to do it again and do it better and faster, really. So I was asking the owner of the car, Jamie, who actually races this car and will be racing it all season for the Z Cars Championships, which you can see on this channel. So I asked him how he drove the car. So one of the things was, for hairpins, what gear do you normally take? So he said third. So when I went out afterwards, I was in third gear, taking the hairpins, probably 5 miles an hour, maybe a bit more, a little bit faster. Another thing was the back straight and the chicane in there. Bedford has a huge back straight with a really fast chicane. And I asked him, okay, so how do you take this? Is it fourth gear and then flat through it? He said, yeah, pretty much. So I figured I could go a lot faster. I actually ended up going like 10, 15 miles an hour faster through that chicane section than I did the first session that I had out. And the other thing was the most interesting, I guess, impressive for myself, was that when the car is on the limit and the tyres are squealing, can you hear it a lot? Is it like really loud in the car, or is it just like a little chirping that you can hear and it's noticeable? So he says, no, it's noticeable. You'll definitely know it's happening, but it's not going to fill the cockpit. And I was like, okay, that's cool, because I did that quite a few times, and being able to hold the car on that level and to be able to drive the car to the level where you're pushing the limits, that was really cool for me, because I did that in the first session. And to be able to get the car to that level and to push myself to that level in a brand new car, it was incredible. So in my second session out, I only had a couple laps, because by the time I got out on track, I noticed the fuel light had come on. So I thought, I don't want to run out of fuel on track. That'd be a massive dick move, and it would slow everyone down on track as well. So I brought it in, but before bringing it in, I drove the car properly, and I came out with a different type of confidence. So if you skip back to the beginning of the video and you see me going out the pits, it's very tentative and slow, but coming out the pits on the track the second time with purpose, you're driving the car as it's meant to be driven. It's kind of like a switch has been flipped. I was coming up behind a TVR Cigaris, which is a 4-litre 4-litre inline six with 400 brake horsepower. So this car should destroy me on the straights and pretty much everywhere else. And I ended up passing him. I was super surprised that I managed to pass him, but it was just because in the corners I was carrying so much more speed with the confidence that I had in the car and myself. So the whole time that I was at the track driving the car, it was between myself, Jamie, and a couple other people, because the car was actually being tested so it could race the weekend after at Cadwell. Now there were a few problems with the car, and one of them was that as you made a turn one way, I think it was to the left, the car felt very balanced and stable, and you could have lots of confidence in the car. But when it went right, it felt a little unstable, and that you weren't sure when it was going to brake, if it was going to brake out, and a little bit wobbly. So the whole time they were trying to kind of fix that, find what the problem was, to see if it was anything to do with the setup. So in my final session I asked, what's exactly wrong with the car? What should I expect when I drive it if I hit that level? And they said this is exactly what would happen. And I went out, and I think I managed to understand the feeling of what they meant. So going into the left turns, it did feel a lot more stable, confident than going into the right turns. So having that experience of having that feeling is like so good for me as a driver and as, you know, someone who wants to do more track days. Although there was one other problem where you slam on the brakes and you want a little bit more braking towards the end of the straight. You put your foot down and it does nothing. There is no more braking. Luckily I wasn't driving the car that hard that I needed more braking. Although Jamie and a couple other people who drove the car found that problem, and luckily the car came back in one piece. So overall, I had an incredible day. For me, it was getting track time and seat time in an incredible car. The BMWs are already super balanced, but this Junior GT basically was something completely different to drive. So a huge shout out to Jamie and Julian, to Coupes and Convertible Racing, to Z Cars, their whole thing, for giving me the opportunity to drive the car, and I look forward to being able to put myself on track for more videos and for more experience. So if you actually want to see the car or any of the other cars that they have built for racing, check out Z Cars and check out Coupes and Convertible Racing online. They've got a race every month with their own grid, and the racing is incredibly tight and incredibly fun to watch. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe if you can. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, brilliant. And you just kept building it up and building it up.
Yeah.
Brilliant, well done.
I definitely want to do more of it.
Brilliant.
Yeah, no, there were some parts where I was like, yeah, each time going round it was a different part going, I know I can throw this in faster here, I know I can throw this in faster here. But it's just getting used to the car.
He's after the Porsche.
Whew.